E through 1. Hi, Tania.
Hi, I'm excited to review the lesson that I was able to watch you teach today in class and to talk about what seemed to go really well, how we were able to reach our learners at all different levels in the classroom, and what you kind of do a reflection piece about what you thought you did really well and what we feel like we could change for next time. Um, Let's talk about how you kind of came about forming this lesson and what you feel like was really strong as you presented your lesson to your students today.
So like coming up with this lesson was like having first like a model, because I think for my students it is very important that I model something and then just go and do exactly the same, of course with their ideas, and for them to see how I do it is beneficial, because of course they are able to see, okay, this is the beginning, this is the middle, this is the end, in terms of what writing, I'm talking about writing.
Right.
And I think it went pretty well, the part that we were just listening to the story and they were just like, oh, this is a story, and then this happened in the beginning, this happened in the middle, this happened in the end, this character is talking about his feelings, this character is giving me details. And so that part I think was very nice. And the second part that I think it worked was me modeling, writing my own story, like my personal story, and they were like, oh, okay, this is how can I use this information to in my story. And so that was pretty good. So
Right. And I feel like as a teacher, it's kind of that model of I do, we do, then you do, in hopes that they do retain that information. And I did think that went really well in the fact that you used differentiation in your instruction, giving them multiple options to the different levels of learners in your class, and allowing them to feel that sense of success, no matter what platform you used, from your seesaw activity to the writing paper to the one-on-one instruction or small group instruction you had at the table. I did think that you allowing them to see the story and then try to walk them through that was a really strong piece with them. How did you feel like the writing process went with them once you were able to get them off the carpet, and that movement in the classroom and creating that safe space? I was going to say that was really great as well, because these young students, we don't want them in one place for too long. So allowing them to have that movement and then settle back in and write. What did you feel like went really well once they got into the writing process itself, either in your small group or within the class itself that were working independently?
It definitely works, the countdown, I think. Like you give them some time for them to do it. Like, is this a specific time? You don't have like more time to do this. And then when they were sitting like from the carpet to their seats, they were just like paying attention to, okay, now what are my ideas and how am I going to start writing? And so having that time for them to think, like, what am I going to write about now, is like, it was like very important for them, because they were having just one idea instead of having a lot of ideas and then writing a story of a lot of ideas, and just those one idea, because that was what I told them. Think on just one idea and try to have a lot of details and tell me like a story about this idea that you have. And
And I
so
like the fact that you use the template as well with these young learners, giving them already those transition words that you had in there, allowing them to feel like they understood the process of what the expectation was to go from your beginning, middle, and then at your end with your last. That went really well. Did you find that when they were writing and using that template, that made it a little bit easier for them?
oh, for sure, yes, yes, and giving them the chance to see the words, and then even the punctuation, like you put first comma and then you keep writing, for them was like, oh, okay, I understand this part. And so yeah, it was definitely very helpful.
What do you feel like there's anything that you would change if you were doing it again, or did you feel like you kind of planned it in a solid way across the board, no matter what the learning ability is of the students in your class?
I would say it was solid, like they,
Right. Well,
yeah.
it was definitely well thought out. I thought when you go through the writing process, allowing them to have the freedom to express themselves and have their own imagination allows them to be able to feel like they can have more to say, if you will, like you're not giving them those restraints. So allowing them to have that freedom to kind of express themselves, I felt like was a really, really strong point. I definitely appreciated the fact that you started with a story that you demonstrated how it had a beginning, middle, and end. That was a strong way to allow them to understand the expectation of what you wanted them to do. And then modeling that with your small group even more and more detailed, allowing them to have that additional support for differentiation and move them about the classroom in a way that you still had access to the rest of the class while you were able to work with the small group and having your assistant to help out. So working as a community that way was really amazing. Do you see any challenges in creating a model like this for quite some time, or do you feel comfortable like you would want to use it?
Um,
Would
like
you like to, the question being like, would you feel like you would want to change this up in any way? Or do you feel like this model is going to enable them to feel more and more success as their writing continues to grow and improve?
yeah, I think like having that model and of course showing them like a mentor text, like where they can see like different examples like of real writers, like is helpful for them, is beneficial for them. Of course, there will be like different genres and things that we're gonna be writing. So we just have to find the perfect example, or like I think so far this is beneficial for them.
For sure. And the other thing is you're really reaching all your different types of learners, from your visual learners to your auditory learners to your kinesthetic learners. You're reaching them at all different levels of ability. So I do feel as though this lesson went really well for you. And I'm excited just to continue to see you grow and grow. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you. Thank you so
All
much.
right. All right. We will talk again soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.